The plume and the pistol. A fitting end to my folly, and a curse upon us all.
You said it, not me. Hello everyone, Science Viking here, and it's time to return to Darkest Dungeon. Okay, so Bernier is pretty well upgraded. Let's see if there's any other ways I can upgrade Cardinal. I'm actually going to start putting points into these skills now. That should be good. Let's see if the Nomad Wagon has anything for us. Not particularly. And let's see, Greekaville. I'm actually going to have him learn Encourage, so he has at least one camping skill that isn't terrible. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but it's only a slight exaggeration. The Occultist camping skills are pretty bad. And let's see. I definitely want... This is how we do it, and I'm also going to get Encourage for him. And that really is all the gold I can afford to expend, so let's find ourselves a mission. Let's see. We get a Hero's Ring. We get a Recovery Charm. I think I already have some of those. I could go for the Ancestor's Pistol again, though only boosting accuracy of range skills and speed isn't really that helpful. Not terrible, but not really anything special. I already have the Hunter's Tower. So I think I know what I want to do. Let's see, I'm definitely bringing Greekaville, and both of the Vestals are currently being treated for something. So I'm going to trade the Hellion for an Abomination. And otherwise, this is the team I'm going with. It's a bit risky to bring anyone who is Resolve level 4 on a champion mission, much less 2 people. However, the good news is the Crusader has a significant advantage here because of his abilities that deal extra damage to deal extra damage to unholy enemies. And I have the Holy Orders, which reduces stress by 20% and increases virtue chance a decent amount. That could be pretty helpful because stress is the main issue with champion level missions. Sort by character class restriction. I'm also going to give him the Necromancer's Collar to further increase his damage versus Unholy. The Bounty Hunter is the one who's going to get the portrait. And even with the risk associated with the further increase to stress, I'm also giving him the Ancestor's Pen, since his good skills are all melee. And I'm going to give the Abomination the Ancestor's Tentacle Idol, and actually I have a question. So, or not a question to any of you, obviously, since you can't answer me because you're not here right now. But, so let's think about this. So the Tentacle Idol increases virtue chance by 20%. What else do I have that increases virtue chance that the Abomination can equip? None of his unique trinkets do that. So let's see. Because virtue chance is by default, I believe, 25%. So 20% brings it up. The plus 20% brings it up to 40% because he's mercurial, which reduces his virtue chance. And so the Hero's Ring, which gives a further plus 25% virtue chance, brings his virtue chance up to 20 plus 40 is 60. 20 plus 20 is 40. And 40 plus 25 is 65. So he actually has a 65% chance of becoming virtuous if his resolve is tested. I'm going with that. That might work. It also might not work. And the Occultist, of course, gets the Ancestor's Scroll. And I don't really have any good occultist-specific equipment, so... what else can I give him? I'm actually going to give him the Prophet's Eye. Reduces stress and increases accuracy, and more importantly, it increases speed. Since he's the healer, I want him to act first each round. Now just make sure everyone has the right abilities equipped. They do. And I do have Inspiring Cry and Absolution to manage stress to a degree. He says, trying to reassure himself from the terrible idea that this mission is. Grab a couple of shovels. Plenty of holy water. Some keys. There are uses for medicinal herbs in the ruins. Grab a bit of food. Need more food than usual because the ruins, it's hard to scavenge food. But we don't need much... honestly, I don't think you need any anti-venom or bandages, but torches are going to be needed. Grab ourselves plenty of those, and let us begin.
Pace out the halls of your lineage once familiar, now foreign.
Okay, I was going to say there'd be a bit of backtracking, but actually there will be very little because this is a big circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 rooms. So we probably can only skip one. We may be able to skip two, but I'm gonna... well, I can just go in a spiral pattern and this can be my last room. So actually no backtracking. That's unusual. Usually there's at least a little bit. Also, I'm thinking that in hindsight, I probably should have brought one of my Darkest Dungeon veterans to this mission. The increased resolve experience would be helpful, and the just power that these characters have would be helpful.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
And this is why we bring shovels. And more scouting. Wow, this mission has really been going easy on me so far, that we finally have some combat. Let's see what it's got in store. And it heard that comment about going easy on me and decided to change its mind. Oh, you think I'm going easy on you? How do you like this? Okay, vulnerability hex on the ghoul. Ghoul is unholy, which is good. Okay, really should have brought bandages. I forgot about the ghouls. Okay, smite will do 9 to 17. Its stun resistance is 90%, so 40% chance of stunning, which I'll take. Would have been better if that is stunned. And collect bounty, 11 to 21 without a critical. Even with a critical, it will kill. I was hoping to get a chance to reduce the ghoul's protection, but I really don't need to do that at this point. Okay, so we have horror in addition to bleeding. Wonderful.
The abyss returns even the boldest gaze.
Go for some healing. Stick with manacles on the witch. If you can stun her, that would be very good. And this time I'm having you go for... wait, no. Collect bounty almost certainly will kill it. Let's go with Inspiring Cry. Get some of these stress levels down a little bit.
A victory.
Because that's the end of the ghoul.
Perhaps the turning point.
Weird reconstruction again. Just to head off the bleeding a little bit. And now I just need to have an attack that reaches position 3, and as it happens, I do.
Decimated. As victories mount, so too will resistance.
I know it was the horror effect that caused them all to gain stress there, because one tick passed, But I choose to imagine that they're all deathly afraid of gold, and so opening the bag full of gold caused them all to panic. Like, ah! What's in that bag? It's terrible! And even more scouting. With so much luck, I'm worrying that it's preparing me for something terrible, like spiders, or worse. No real reason for that, I'm just doing it. Oh, come on. This is what happens when you bring inexperienced people on the champion mission. It becomes hard to kill things quickly.
Onslaught. Destroy them all.
Ooh.
Death waits for the slightest lapse in concentration.
Go for that one. Okay, that's actually good because it means that they're all within range of being killed by Zealous Accusation. Except for the spinner, which is literally out of range of Zealous Accusation, so it doesn't really matter. Ooh. But I can hit that with manacles. Chains make a surprisingly good whip, it seems. And the Crusader managed to miss with words. I guess the pen isn't mightier than the sword. And the Crusader just has every kind of damage over time now.
Annihilated.
And I don't have the means to fix it because I'm an idiot. But if you've been watching up to now, you probably already know that by this point. Okay, there we go. I banish thee.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
And this is where we probably fight something dangerous. Oh, it's just bandits, not that bad. Step 1, heal the Crusader. And he just has the worst luck. This Crusader just has the worst luck when it comes to, and let's go with finish him. And it would miss. Oh, screw it. Stunning blow. Let's see if we can That was smite. I meant to use stunning blow, but I accidentally clicked on smite instead. Didn't know Shank could mark people. Guess you learn something new every round.
Unnerved,
Uppercut
unbalanced,
crit.
grievous injury, palpable fear.
Smite will not kill. Obviously, Zealous Accusation won't kill, but I have a plan. It's an extremely high-risk plan, like all of my plans, but I have a plan. Yes, I'm transforming at 94 stress. 95 stress, but now I can use Rake.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
I'm just gonna go with Collect Bounty to get
As
rid
the
of the
fiend
last one.
falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Put some healing in because we need it. And his resolve is tested. And I lost my 65%. I lost my bet.
Fear and frailty finally claim their due.
And wait, he can't transform while he's afflicted? That's interesting. I didn't know that. Just go with Inspiring Cry on myself. He needs the one hit point of healing. Well, this mission turned around real fast. Though I suppose incompetence tends to do that.
And panic. Eradicated. foolish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud.
Back to the default party order. Fortunately, there appear to be relatively few enemies. But I think we should make camp in the next room. So we finished one. Okay, scouting says what? Okay, another empty room. In that case, I'm actually just gonna keep going. As long as the rooms are empty, are guaranteed to be empty, there's no reason to make camp yet. It's only when the room either might contain enemies or definitely does that we need to make camp. And since we don't have scouting, the next room might contain enemies, so it's time to make camp.
Circle in the dark. The battle may yet be won.
Alright. Zealous Vigil, because we need to prevent nighttime ambush. Zealous Speech. Stand tall. And we're out of time units.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted.
And we're headed into uncharted
clear.
territory. Well, I suppose that's appropriate. This is a scouting mission. Technically speaking, our job is to chart the territory. So if we're charting already charted territory, I question the usefulness of this mission. No, I'm going to be honest. I'm kind of been questioning the usefulness of every aspect of this endeavor. Okay, let's go with vulnerability hack. Protection is only 33. I was hoping to reduce the abomination's stress, but apparently not. Yeah, they know who to target. Well, okay, beast. Yeah, let's go with Beast 5 for now. Unfortunately, it did nothing to the general. Select Bounty will do something to him, though. And we even managed to dodge Ground Pound. Things are starting to look up. Still gonna take at least one more round for the general to finish dying, though. Okay, I'm taking a bit of a risk, but I'm using weakness curse on this thing to reduce its protection. And of course the Bone General has 115% move resistance. I'm just noticing that now, but it's very appropriate. Okay, Absolution, because you need what little healing you can get. Please don't stun, please don't stun, please don't stun. Thank you. I can handle the Abomination being stunned, but I need the two front runners not to be stunned. There we go.
Monstrous size has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
His resolve would be being tested if he weren't already afflicted. And the royalty manages to survive with 1 hit point. Isn't that always the way? The royalty just barely managed to escape by, while the commoners have to deal with the consequences of everything. Well, pulling this one forward, they'll both be in the front 2 positions. You go with Absolution so you don't have a heart attack. And the Crusader manages to miss again. Okay.
Confidence surges as
That's
the
the
enemy
end of one of
crumbles.
them. And I can't reach it with Demon's Pull, but I can kill it with vulnerability
Formation
hacks.
is broken. Maintain the offensive.
I'm gonna be honest, being killed by a debuff is even more embarrassing than being killed by the enemy team's medic. It's like, this ability isn't even supposed to do
Even
damage.
the cold stone seems bent on preventing passage.
The whole point of the ability is just to weaken the enemy, but it still does that 1 point of damage. Dying to that is just the most embarrassing possible way to die in this game, I think.
Wealth beyond measure. awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
Like, that's on the same level of shame as, like, a bit of the ceiling fell down and you, then it killed you. And manacles, because I don't want to be hit by Tempting Goblin again. And that's the end of that champion. And let's see if we can stun this way. Stun resistance isn't very high. It is high enough, apparently. Yeah. I don't like Rent for the old gods. Oh, I may as well manacle him again. And still no luck. Fortunately, fortunately, the royalty picked exactly the wrong target for Tempting Goblet. A little bit of healing in. Okay.
Strike.
And not only is the... Yeah. You know, Bernier really has been the MVP here. He has the lowest stress of everyone, and that critical hit was really important, because now he's pulled the royalty forward. And the game takes pity on me and gives me advantages.
They can be beaten.
Because the game decided that I needed them. Okay, this is the last room that might have enemies, and it does! And what enemies it has. You just move yourself back into position. Right. I'm actually going with Weakening Curse on the shield wall. And then I'm going to go with Come Hither on the sharpshooter, because I don't want to be hit with Quarrel. Smite still can't kill without a critical on this one, but it can on the sharpshooter. And I got a critical anyway.
Executed.
Thou art judged. Yeah, you can't use Quarrel every turn without being judged a little bit, let's be honest. Thou art judged is just a fancy way of saying, I'm sick of being shot with a crossbow. Knock it off. I'm actually going to risk one more Quarrel by using Vulnerability Hex on the shield wall, rather than healing the, And now... Yeah, he resisted the stun, so I did need the mark. And despite being stunned, the Crusader managed to duck. He probably just, like, in his daze, he probably just tripped and fell over and the crossbow bolt just went whizzing past his head. And a second very necessary critical.
Precision and power.
Like I said, Bernier has just been the MVP for this whole mission. He just has destroyed everything. And Linom can't hit a stunned enemy. Well, we've established that apparently stunned people are actually very good at dodging, so I suppose it's understandable. You know, it's the best you can do. Okay, Linom, it's your chance to redeem yourself. And Linom is sick of your crossbow bullshit.
This expedition at least promises success.
Open the sarcophagus, get some gold. And we're moving into an empty room that might be our last room for this mission. Which means that, we all know what that means, because we have scouting for the room but not the hallway. A shambler is going to show up in this hallway somehow. I know they're not supposed to be able to show up unless the torch level is 0. It's still going to show up somehow. Or perhaps not. And I get to skip 2 rooms, but I have scouting for this. Yeah, and this room's empty anyway. Let's get back to the hamlet. Let's not push our luck any further than we already have.
The walls of our ancestry are beginning to feel familiar.
Collected a decent amount of loot, but the loot was decent but not amazing, but since we got 9,000 gold just for completing the mission. And more importantly, Briqueville and Bernier are now at level 6. Lenam is a Warren's tactician, not exactly the best ability for a Crusader. And the Abomination has hysterical blindness.
Women and men,
6 more
soldiers
recruits
and
than usual.
outlaws,
That's not really
fools
helpful.
and corpses. All will find their way to us now that the road is clear.
Treat. Why is the okay? Let's just take a moment to appreciate how funny it is that the occultist can only pray to a higher power to heal himself, or to reduce his stress. Actually, I don't know. It's kind of appropriate. It's just don't ask too many questions about which higher power this occultist is praying to. Okay, let's treat the Abomination, and I'm actually gonna treat Bernier, even though his stress is pretty low. There's a reason for that. I have plans for him, and I want his stress to be as low as possible. And since I have to treat the occultist's stress anyway. Throw the Crusader in there too. And where's Busey? Let's max out Busey's armor, and let's also invest a little bit in her skills. And lo and behold, we're out of money again. Anyway, before we proceed with the next mission, I am going to get a fresh recording file, so I will be back in a moment.
Let me share with you the terrible wonders I have come to know.
Okay, I have a fresh recording file. Let's go do another mission. Need to stall for time a little bit anyway. Let's see. Could go for Let Sleeping Evils Lie. I'm gonna do that. So let's bring Bonath in position. Actually, no, let's not bring the Crusader to the Cove. Let's see. Let's bring Evelyn, Evik, Hatat, and Fiton. Alright. Equip all trinkets, and let's gear everybody. Alright, so you... Alright, sort by character class restriction. Now I just need to figure out where exactly the Arablest gear goes. Okay, you get the Medic's Greaves, and... Honestly, I'm going to combine that with the Ancestor's Scroll to try to get the best healing benefit that I can get. And I'll hold on to Sniper's Mark just in case I need it for really durable enemies. The Antiquarian stays the same with abilities, and I'll give you the Life Candle and the Carapace Idol. I actually don't want to give you the Rampart Shield. I also don't want to give you the Guardian's Shield. Let's see, the Longevity Eye Patch, and then the Flesh's Heart. And I'm actually going to trade... I'm not going to equip Rampart, because the issue is I need the Hellion to be in position 1. So I could do Bellow, which reduces the dodge and speed of all enemies, or Bolster, which raises the dodge of one target and reduces their stress. I'm going to equip Bolster. And for the Hellion, I like the abilities that she has. Now it's just a question of the equipment. She's definitely getting the Ancestor's Pen. And I'm actually going to give her Wolf's Tassel based on the idea that this actually allows her to exploit marks alongside the Arablest. So she's kind of a budget mark exploitation character. Alright. And let's provision. Don't need as much food, but we do need some. Want some medicinal herbs. I am bringing anti-venom and bandages this time. Couple of skeleton keys. I think there's a use for holy water in the cove, but I'm only bringing one. Plenty of torches and shovels. There we go. Everything you need in your what man was not meant to know starter kit.
Recover these lost shipments of rarities, that we may prevent them from falling into even less scrupulous hands.
Okay, so no luck on finding any of them yet, and this is going to be a somewhat challenging map to find them in, but then again, the longer we spend exploring, the more chance the antiquarian has to find useful antique junk. Ah, stingers. And we didn't surprise them, so they get to go first, of course. Stingers, congratulations. Congratulations. You will never be faster than them. Except as I say that, apparently we are. This is the power that I have. As soon as I say something, the opposite of that becomes the truth, retroactively if necessary. Hoo-hoo. And I imagine the wide mouth is feeling a touch exposed.
Decimated.
Now he's feeling something worse than that.
Foolish horrors. Brought low and driven into the mud.
Also, this has never happened before. I have 2 rare antiques and no normal antiques. Bleed resistance is 80%, so 50% chance that he bleeds. And he bleeds, and for 5 turns too, because it's a critical. Let's follow that up with... Actually, if I follow that up with Festering Vapors, if it causes flight... He's bladed for 1 times 3 plus 3 times 5, so 3 plus 15 is all of his hit points. So that's the end of the bulwark. Unfortunately, the other bulwark is already creating serious problems. The bulwark has decided he loves bleeding so much that he wants to share it with us with Octus Estus. Particularly if it bleeds on the wide mouth. Okay, that's another enemy bleeding / blighted for all of their hit points. So I really need to do something about the Oracle. That's going to be a... I forgot that he was guarded, but that's actually still helpful. I mean, the 75% protection is a bit of an issue, but at the very least he takes extra damage from the Hellion now because of Wolf's Tassel. Unfortunately, with the evenly distributed damage, this is one of those situations that makes you really wish you had a Vestal. Sniper shot will only do 3 to 7. Whatever. Or 10 if I get a critical.
Executed.
Not really much that the Man-at-Arms can do that would be helpful right now. Okay, these 2 are on their way out. And yeah, because of the protection, Wicked Hack, even with the elevated damage, did 6. Oh.
Quickly the tide turns.
And that's going to be hard to fix because we don't have a main healer. And Stress Wave is just that final insult at the end of all of that. Okay, start with Fortifying Vapors because the Antiquarian went first. I actually would have rather started with Battlefield Bandage. But instead, Battlefield Bandage is getting used last because the game...
never hidden.
The game has decided that the healing buff from Battlefield Bandage is just too good for me. It's not letting me have that. Or, well, not letting me benefit from it this turn.
Inspiration and improvement.
And even more Barnacle Barrier, because how much Barnacle Barrier is there? more. Always more. Yeah, the symbiotic relationship between these two is going to cause some serious problems. Okay, stick with fortifying vapors for now. We're going to need to use if it bleeds and hope that it does. It's not if it bleeds we can kill it, it's if it bleeds we get to live. Does it bleed? It does not bleed. Wonderful. Okay, Sniper's Mark, because he will block Sniper's Mark somehow. It bleeds. And it bleeds this time. Crush, because I can't safely use Rampart at the moment. It's not equipped. Make it sound like there's a good reason I can't use Rampart. The reason I can't use Rampart is it isn't equipped anymore. You would use Sea Breeze, you bastard. You damn scaly bastard. Festering Vapors. Damage over time is often the best bet against, it's often the best bet when you can actually inflict some. Okay, that's him. Hot up. A round ago, the Arabless was talking about how we need to finish this fight quickly, and we didn't listen, and so...
ordered, lovingly admired.
Earlier she said, well, we need to finish this fight quickly, and now apparently we didn't listen, and so she's decided, fuck it, I'll finish it myself. And a secret door already. This is further increasing the probability that we encounter the, collector. Drop the holy water for one of the trapezohedrons. Drop the citrine and the antivenom. Yes, there are spiders, but spiders are pretty rare, and they're the only enemies in the game that can inflict blight. They're the only enemies in the cove that can inflict blight.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
Is there really, I'm gonna take a risk and drop the gold for the ruby. On the gamble that we get at least one more ruby before the end of the game. Before the end of the mission. I keep referring to things as the whole game when it's actually just this mission or this area. My sense of scale is just completely off today. Okay. Curio. Quest location. Okay, we finally found our first quest location. Let's light the torch immediately. And more violence. And a lot of them get to go before any of us do. Crush. Nervous stab won't kill without a critical, and it won't even hit. Alright. Time for the old gods is never fun. I can at least get rid of the cultist witch,
the enemy crumbles.
And Wicked Hack might kill, but it probably won't. This is what happens when you tell the Hellion that she can't kill something. Just, that's what happens. Wait, did you use Barnacle Barrier on the guy who's in stealth? That was rather pointless. Well, actually, it wasn't because of the extra protection. I suppose he couldn't use it on the corpses, so we decided to use it on the guy we already can't target. Oh, he's out of stealth now, anyway. Well, this allows me to at least attempt to accumulate some bleeding on you. With 75% protection and us not having any abilities to produce protection, it's kind of the only option we've got. go with adrenaline rush while we wait for this buff to end. Sniper's mark. Crush. Ooh, critical crush. Okay, and his defensive buff is gone. Which means, and he didn't use, which means he's about to be in a world of hurt. Or take 14 damage, whichever is more likely. Actually, only 9 damage, apparently.
Eradicated.
Blighted for 2, he has 11. Stabbing him will only do 1 to 2, so I may as well just use the, I just may as well use Festering Vapors. Yeah, when you can't reduce protection, the bulwarks take a while to die. And let the main healer get to work. There's a terrifying thought. And there we go.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Honestly, I probably should not have dropped the gold for the rubies.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
Anyway, let's make camp just out of the interest of clearing up some inventory space.
Huddled
Feast.
together, furtive and vulnerable. Rats in a maze.
And it is at this moment that I realize that I do not actually have any abilities that prevent... I don't have any abilities that prevent nighttime ambush, so we're just going to have to risk it. And I'll use Encourage on the Hellions because I can. And here's hoping there's no midnight surprise.
The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
The coral is soothing to the mind. Okay. And there's probably going to be a fight here because I believe if a room is a quest location, there's... I keep doing it. Like I said, witness my magical powers.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
Witness my amazing powers. I was going to say, I believe that if a room is a quest location, there's always a room battle, and before I finished saying it, I found out that I was wrong. I swear it was true until I said it was true, and then it stopped being true. That's my special gift. I am giftedly wrong. I have the ability to change the past to make myself wrong about things. But that's the only way I can change the past. And I have to believe the thing when I'm saying it in order for it to change. And Pelagie groupies, or wide mouths. I'm just gonna go with healing at this point. There's not much point in having the antiquarian do anything.
Destroyed.
And the Arbalest continues to get a critical every time she attempts to shoot something.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy.
And not to be outdone, the Hellion.
all.
And not to be outdone, the Hellion reduces the wide mouth to a bluish stain on the floor, and the wall, and the ceiling, and everyone's clothes. And maybe, can you try to kill them a little cleaner?
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
And more scouting. And hey, free food in the background there. As long as you're not squeamish. Okay, quest location, and then continuing just along the straight line this time. Wow, a lot of loot. Like, not even counting the effect of the antiquarian. I really should not have dropped the gold for the rubies. I forgot about the antiquarian's ability increasing the maximum stack size for gold. In this case, I may as well just start accumulating festering vapors of bulwark. So it won't do much, but frankly, nothing the antiquarian can do does much. I'm gonna go with Bola so that I can... And it resisted move. But we may as well focus on the bulwark that doesn't have boosted protection right now.
About to break.
Frankly, none of these enemies can hit that hard even when they get critical hits. Let's actually go Fester. The only thing the Arablest can do is Bola these guys. I may as well use Battlefield.
A momentary abatement. Unnerved.
But you see, even a critical hit did 9 damage. Of course, considering the fact that on a good turn we get healing for 7, 9 is actually kind of a large number in this context. And another much-needed critical. Continue with Battlefield Bandage, because stacking the healing buff will be helpful. Not really a good target for bolster, so let's just continue wearing down the bulwark. It's going to be a slow process, but, well, what else can we do? Oh, and Call of the Deep to make it even worse. You know what? You could also use Sea Breeze. I'm going to try to prevent you from doing that. Well, the Antiquarian very slowly heals people. Though I suppose the buff to bleeding resistance is actually doing more good than the healing is. Right.
A decisive pummeling.
You know, I really should just start assuming the Arablest is going to crit. She always does.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
And Crush, and of course now we have the extra challenge, which is if the fight goes on too long without us killing the last enemy, more enemies will show up and we'll discover that they weren't the last. So critical healing for 12.
This expedition at least promises success.
Are you sure? That's just a curio, which I'm not bothering with. We have a quest location coming our way. And while bleeding is still possible, I'm gonna toss the bandages just because they're the most expendable of the things in our inventory. Other than possibly the torches.
Wealth beyond measure. Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
Antiques beyond measure. Hold on to the stuff we have. Also, somebody told me the maximum stack size for minor antiques is 20. And the last quest location is going to make us go... They're going to make us go for the long haul. 20 at 500 each. That's 10,000 gold. That's a lot. That's it. I'm lighting
The
torches
match
until we're
is
down to
struck.
one stack, and then
A blazing star is
I'm
born.
tired of leaving gold behind that we don't have to leave behind. And our first explodey boy. Ooh. Okay, the thrall is gone. You know, let's just stick with fortifying vapors. That was apparently a good choice if the critical is anything to go by. Oh, and because he's out of position, the Oracle can only use ceremonial cut. It's like sacrificial stab, but lame. And now there's even less that he can do now that he's not alive anymore. Unfortunately, the Hellion kind of paid for that kill. She just got to be the target of everything for a round. At least she got some payback. Alright. Definitely going for a battlefield bandage. Okay, for the next round, everyone who can heal the Hellion, heal the Hellion. She needs it. She needs it bad. Same thing, battlefield bandage. And after an entire round of healing the Hellion, she's in okay shape. Ooh, and then we missed. Okay, we need this thing to die now. Thank you, Avik. Avik doing her best imitation of a food processor.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
I'm gonna take a risk that we won't. No, I'm not. I was gonna take a risk and drop the key for the emerald, but I'm gonna not do that. I always end up being wrong when I do stuff like that, so I'm just gonna not. I suppose if I'm always wrong no matter what I do, then it doesn't matter what I do. I can do whatever I want. Okay, medicinal alert. Oh, wrong hero. I should have had the antiquarian do that.
Waiting to be spent.
It was bound to happen sooner or later, but we have to deal with it in a way of pressure. We really do not have the right team for that.
A singular strike.
Yeah, this is one where mark exploitation is going to be absolutely vital. Unfortunately, mark exploitation is also going to be somewhat difficult. You know, the more I think about it, the Antiquarian would combine pretty well with a Plague Doctor, because the Antiquarian has the debuff that reduces blight resistance, and then you can use the Plague Doctor's blighting abilities, which actually cause meaningful damage. And it goes... Okay, that's good. My heart rate can return to normal now. Arterial pinch missed. I'm kidding, I'm not going to be breathing normally until this thing is dead. May not be much longer. No, props to Avik for dodging arterial pinch twice. May as well go for crush on the snail. They call it a maggot, it's clearly a snail. This is messing with it. And 6. It's marked, and the best you could do was 6. Come on. I guess this is just paying back all the criticals that I've gotten.
The slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
And now, to the unmarked target, you do 23. Festering Vapors will deal 0 damage. But that'll do it.
By inches.
And we have a trap to disarm. And we still don't. The last quest location isn't even on the map yet. Now it is. And I'm not going for this last extra room battle. Oh, come on.
Hacks laden with loot are often low on supplies.
Well, that was the last curio, so I may as well drop the extra torches. Glad I didn't decide to drop the food there.
glittering gold, trinkets and
Okay.
baubles,
And we have the...
paid for in blood.
We've collected the relics to stop them from being found by, like, Dr. Doom, who's the only person I can imagine who is less scrupulous than us. And 31,000 gold worth of loot. And a new champion, too. A champion with some quirks that are going to need to be fixed. And we have the Black Plague and Spasm of the Entrails. I was hoping we could get the Red Plague. You know, some color variation in our plagues. Anyway, we got some diseases to get rid of.
A finely crafted instrument of butchery and bloodshed. Yours for the taking.
Get rid of some diseases. I think I actually have 3 different people who need diseases treated. Okay. Let's see. Brickaville. Fully upgrade his weapon and his armor. Right. Cardinal is fully upgraded. Where is Bernier? Is also fully upgraded for his weapon. And let's see, the last 2 of these. Okay, so Vilhardane. Let's see about her. Vilhardane is fully upgraded. Now let's see about upgrading skills. We have a number of skills that can be worked on. Alright. Cardinal is maxed out, basically. Alright. Bernier. May as well level up Uppercut a couple of times. Brickaville. Yeah, I'd say he's good. I still have some gold, but I'm actually going to hold on to it for now, because I'm ready to take on the Heart of Darkness. So, for that, my team composition is going to be Cardinal, Bernier, Brickaville, and Vilhardane. Yeah, we're going all in on Mark Exploitation except for the Position 2 Vestal. And part of the reason for having the Position 2 Vestal is that it makes it easier to get away with the Occultist being the main healer. I'm going to go for the, let's see, the Wrathful Bandana. Yeah, the Wrathful Bandana and the Fuseman's Matchstick on the Arablest. The Occultist is going to be the one who has the Ancestor's Scroll, if I can find it. I forgot to unequip all trinkets, which means I need to redo the Arablest too. He gets the Ancestor's Scroll, and... let me see. I'm actually going to give him the Ancestor's Tentacle Idol because I need him not to die. Vilhardane gets the Wrathful Bandana and the Fuseman's Matchstick. Cardinal gets, to no one's surprise, the Profane Scroll. And I don't really want to give her the Tome of Holy Healing. So I'm actually going to give her the Ancestor's Signet Ring for increased accuracy and protection. As for the Bounty Hunter, my mouse is going... oh, I accidentally hit the DPI button on my mouse again. My mouse started going crazy there for a second. Gets the Wounding Helmet and Wolf's Tassel, getting a whopping plus 45% damage versus marked. And woe be any enemy that is both marked and size 2. I like his abilities. However, I'm trading Divine Grace and Judgment for Mace Bash and Hand of Light. I'm going to trade Demon's Pull for Sacrificial Stab. And I'm going to trade Battlefield Bandage for Suppressing Fire. Okay. Actually, I want to change something. I don't want to keep the Wrathful Bandana. There's an issue with it, which is I actually can't rely on the Arbalest to be in position 4 because of something I know about the... Because of something that I know about the final battle, I'm actually going to trade the Wrathful Bandana for the Bullseye Bandana because I need the extra critical. Because the extra critical is more useful because, like I said, I can't rely on the Arbalest to be in position 4. So, because now the Arbalest works equally well in positions 3 or 4. So, let's see if we can do this. If a Darkest Dungeon quest is abandoned, not all heroes are guaranteed to survive. Someone must sacrifice themselves to hold off the fiends during the retreat. I understand. Plenty of bandages and anti-venom. Plenty of torches. I don't know exactly what I'm getting into with this mission. And plenty of food just in case. And I don't think obstacles can happen, but I'm still bringing a couple of shovels just in case they can. This might be jumping straight into a boss fight. I actually don't know. But, let us begin. That's chilling. Not just the image, but that the hint is just ... That's... I'm nervous right now. And this is not helping. Ghostly premonition presents itself. Is it really him?
In all my terrible researches, what I sought was a glimpse behind the veil, a crumb of cosmic truth. I found it here, and in that moment of brain-blasting realization, I ceased to be a man, and became a herald, an avatar of the crawling chaos.
That's unsettling. I'm not seeing any battles. This entire mission might be literally just a boss fight. Or we just walk through until the end of this hallway and then we just hear it. Yeah, I think that's it. We just hear his narrations and then we fight the Heart of Darkness.
Life feeds on life. In your petty pursuit of family redemption, you consume those who rally to your cause, and in so doing, you strengthen the thing, accelerating the end. This is as it should be. It is why you are here.
Wait, are you telling me the ancestor tricked me? Really? Say it ain't so. I never would have considered the possibility that the ancestor might be untrustworthy. Honestly, that is rather chilling, though, the idea that I've actually been contributing to the thing that we're fighting against. Like, it is a chilling idea.
We are chained here forever, you and I, at the end of the world. Free yourself, rouse the thing, and embrace the ineffable cosmic hideousness that lives within us all.
So, you've been on this thing's side the whole time, and have been leading me here in the hopes that when I see this thing, I will join you in madness and embrace the Heart of Darkness. This whole thing was a trap you laid for me. Well, I gotta admit, things get kind of scary when the narrator turns against you. But I'm not giving up that easily. If I am anything, I am stubborn.
You still foolishly consider yourself an entity separate from the whole. I know better. And I will show you.
So, despite having shot himself, the ancestor is alive somehow. I know I'm afraid right now. Perfect replication. So now there's 4 of him, but only one of them has the elevated protection. Okay, he's Eldritch and human. However, I'm going to go with vulnerability hex on this one. Okay, these can take damage, but not enough to kill. Time heals all. Okay, only restoring a little bit, but these ones are probably going to attack now. We are the same. Yeah, it's starting to take... I'm starting to understand what you're trying to tell me. Okay, sacrificial stab is guaranteed to kill if it hits. Okay, collect bounty won't kill without a critical, so let's go with mark for death on this one. Sniper shot also won't kill without a critical, but with a 45% chance of a critical, that can happen. Okay, stun resistance. Oh, stun resistance is relevant to those before I do. Yeah, these abilities. We are the same. Reunion. You can, and the lines. You cannot keep yourself separate from the whole. I think I get the picture. But the reflections are starting to get more and more messed up. Okay. Vulnerability hex the perfect reflection. Behold the unquenchable fire of the stars. Alright, we have 7 bandages. I can afford to spend 1. Okay, that still won't kill, but it will wear him down. But this should kill. Especially if it gets the critical hit that it has a 45% chance of getting. And I'm just going to go with some healing. Cardinal here. Perfect reproduction. Reunion. You know, the fact that his ability that is him trying to consume one of my heroes is called Reunion, that's rather obvious. Okay, collect bounty. Good chance of killing, but not a certainty of it. Okay, sniper shot is guaranteed to kill this one, so I'm going to go with that. And Mace Bash might get the kill, but unfortunately not. It chooses... Is that just what the marking ability does? And he continues to use imperfect reproduction. Okay. He goes vulnerability hex on that one. That will at least give this guy a chance to give the bounty hunter a chance to kill it. Okay, not... Okay. Dazzling light to get rid of that one. Actually use the bandage this time that I forgot about before. Bolus will kill the front one, but will also kill the other. Unfortunately, he's going to make more next turn. But he just lost a hit point. So I can't directly damage him, but killing his creatures gradually wears down his hit points. Alright. I'm going to mark this one for death. That way I can have the occultist heal the Aura Blessed, because she needs it. She's only bleeding for a total of 9. I think I can leave that alone. 16 to 31 without a critical. And so it does 21, which isn't enough to kill. This will be, though. Okay, I think I understand. So... I specifically have to kill the imperfect reflection. Killing the imperfect reflection damages him. Okay. Marked for death. Ooh. And I guess Bernier is finally just starting to get impatient. Sacrificial Stab won't one-shot, but it could set up a two-shot if I'm lucky. And now is the time for bandages for the Aura Blast. Okay, I need to be a bit more lucky than that in order to make this happen. I'm just gonna go with healing then. The perfect reflections aren't important. They get to attack, which can be a problem, but the imperfect reflections are the thing I actually need to kill. I'm attacking the mirror. It's almost like I'm proving that he's not me or something by attacking the imperfect reflections. Like, I'm sure there's symbolism behind this, but I feel like I don't completely get the symbolism behind specifically targeting the imperfect reflections. I understand the rest. He's arguing that we are the same as the Heart of Darkness, that we are a part of it somehow. That's meant to be what this all symbolizes. Okay, one more and he's done. I would have liked to also get rid of... Well, getting rid of at least one more of the perfect reflections will help. Actually, I'm not sure that does anything. Because he always creates a new perfect reflection. Oh, the perfect reflection doesn't get to act on the turn that it arrives. So killing the perfect reflections means that he gets fewer attacks the next round. And killing the imperfect reflection is how you actually end the fight. Well, I'm actually going to let the occultist do the honors here. With a critical, no less. And there he goes.
The flesh is fluid. It can be changed, reshaped, remade.
Okay, now there's absolute nothingness, which presumably cannot be meaningfully damaged, and then the ancestor who can. Alright, let's start by marking him. Okay, he resisted the debuff, unfortunately. And none of the Vestal's abilities can reach him. Okay, let's see. His move resistance is 0%. Okay, perfect. He's exactly where I want him. Of course, with 252 hit points, that's still going to take a while to put him in the ground. Especially with Sacrificial Stab does that. Unmake them all. Oh. Oh. That was nasty to just witness. And he does that every time he's not... That moves him back. Oh, no, come hither. Next time I maybe shouldn't bring a bounty hunter. Though his move resistance being 0 does help with this. And having an Aura Blessed does also. It's still gonna take a while for him to die. And I'm not sure we have a while with how much he's accumulating damage on us. Woohoo! Yeah, his stress level's getting high and he's just getting impatient. He just wants the fight to end. And now he gets to move himself back 2 spaces instead of 1. And he's afflicted. Okay, sniper shot. Without a massive critical, it's gonna take a very long time for him to die. I'm gonna keep pulling him. Though I don't know, maybe he doesn't use Unmake Them All if you don't move him. I'll see if I can stun him to keep him from using it this turn. No, I cannot. And he gets Embrace Futility. That one doesn't move him back, but since the bounty hunter is out of position, the fact that he didn't move back doesn't really do me any good. Screw it, I'll just renew the mark because that's all I can do. Okay, 46, that's good, but... Okay, Mace Bash will do 9 to 18. This could finish. It did.
The flesh is immortal. It is undying. Pray it does not take too hideous a form.
He is the Heart of Darkness. Okay, sniper shot does pretty good damage. What? Okay, vulnerability hex. And it managed to dodge it. Its dodge is actually really high. Dispersion. So more blight. Well, I brought plenty of anti-venom. Okay, it's already marked, so... Not sure how it's marked, but it is marked. Ooh. This is just the gestating heart. This is not technically called the Heart of Darkness, and every other time the boss has been... The name that we see on the field map has also... On the mission selection map has also been the name that we actually... of the thing we actually have to kill. So damaging the heart seems to heal the person who damages it, and also cause blight on them. Yep, it heals you, but then it blights you for more than it healed you for. But so since this is just the gestating heart, this can't be the final form. There's more.
Behold the
This
heart
is it.
of the world, progenitor of life, father and mother, alpha and omega, our creator and our destroyer. So
this thing created humanity. This Heart of Darkness created us, and now we're fighting against it. So we're basically fighting God now. Come unto your maker. So, yeah, this is the thing that I had heard about going into this fight. You have the... Come unto your maker means you choose one of your team members and they die. And it makes you choose, but there's no way to survive it. Other than I've heard someone managed to kill it before it had a chance to do that. So I have to choose one of my heroes, and they die. And the thing is, like I said, I heard about this beforehand. That's why I brought a Position 2 Vestal. Because the team can function without a Position 2 Vestal. So when I was planning this, I specifically brought one hero to be the sacrifice. I'm sorry, Cardinal. I wish it didn't have to be this way. And Bernier's resolve is also tested, and he's masochistic. That's 2 people afflicted now. Okay, it's only marked for one more round, so I'm actually going with Vulnerability Hex, because the other thing is that reducing its evasion would be very helpful. Disillusion. Okay, that just does damage and stress. And stun. On the main healer. Collect bounty will do 22 to 43 without a... Or 64 if I get a critical. It could also do that. But all of these... This is... Like I said, I anticipated that. Well, I knew about that ahead of time, so... It can do it multiple times. I didn't know it could do that multiple times. I wasn't prepared for that. I only thought it could do it once. Well, there's only one choice. If I take out either the Occultist or the Bounty Hunter, the Arablest won't have any abilities she can use. I'm sorry, Vilhardane, but you're the one I can afford to lose. Meaning the 2 afflicted people are the only ones who can still fight. Okay, Sacrificial Stab won't kill, but it will reduce it to critical of critical health. And this might kill. And it does.
Victory. A hollow and ridiculous notion. We are born of this thing, made from it, and we will be returned to it in time. The great family of man. A profusion of errant flesh, multiplying, swarming, living, dying, until the stars align in their inexorable formation, and what sleeps is roused once more. To hatch from this fragile shell of earth and rock, and bring our inescapable end. So seek solace in a manner befitting your lineage, and take up your nugatory vigil, haunted forever by that sickening prose echoing through the infinite blackness of space and time. Ruin has come to our family.
And it drops you right back on the title screen. How appropriate. So it's just this great cycle. Over the course of playing through the game, you become more and more like the ancestor in the process of pursuing the heart of darkness. And at the end, even though you manage to drive it back, you die, and you, the player, essentially die and are bound to this place. Wow. And it's this unending cycle. That's really cool. It's really dark, but it's really cool. But at the same time, we did manage to... So, all we managed to do, apparently, was postpone the inevitable. But we did manage to postpone the inevitable. Now, this, I'm guessing, indicates that I've finished the game. I wonder what happens when I click on this, when I load this save file. Okay, I'm back. I did actually manage to get back into my old save file. I don't know why it crashed, but I got into it and I looked around and then I realized I forgot to start recording, so I don't have footage of that. But what I found is, once you beat the Heart of Darkness, if you reload your old save, it drops you at the hamlet after the mission has been completed. And you can still go on missions with your old heroes, at least the ones who are still alive. In the other areas, you just can't go back into the Darkest Dungeon. So it basically just kind of unlocks an endless mode, where you can continue playing with that hamlet and unlock and find new trinkets and level up new heroes and stuff, which is kind of just a neat touch as an extra thing that you can do once you've beaten the game. But I've decided, before I close out this project, I kind of want to give my final thoughts on this game. And the short answer is, I love this game. This project has been a huge amount of fun. I've been enjoying every second of playing Darkest Dungeon. This has been a great experience, and frankly, I'm really glad that I wound up deciding to blind run this game, because this has kind of become one of my favorite games. This has been a whole lot of fun to do. And a large part of why that is honestly just how atmospheric this game is. Every aspect of the game does a great job of just kind of gradually unsettling. Like, you have, to point to just one example, you have the Ancestor. He's your narrator. He's the first character you interact with. He narrates the opening sequence that plays every time you start the game. He also narrates the opening cutscene with you on the carriage on the way to the hamlet. And he narrates the things that you do throughout the game. He's kind of your anchor to this game. He's the character that kind of you cling to. He's for a sense of stability, because he's the character that you interact with the most in the entire game. And as you progress, you gradually discover the depths of his insanity and the horrors that he is responsible for. That the evil things that he was willing to do in his pursuit of the Eldritch and his pursuit of knowledge. And you gradually come to understand the horror of this person that has been with you since the beginning of the game, that you've just kind of gotten used to. And that's just kind of a microcosm of the whole game, of just gradually peeling away the layers, gradually feeling the horrors that are hidden beneath, that you kind of want to look away, but you can't bring yourself to look away because you know that the answer is horrifying, but you just have to know how it all ends. You just have to know what happened. You have to know the truth. And I think it's really fitting that the story ends with you essentially becoming the next ancestor. Because it forces you, because you gradually start kind of adopting the characteristics of the ancestor as you progress. He was motivated by the need to know the truth, the need to understand. And you as the player will find yourself motivated by the same thing. I've just got to know what happens next. I'm going through the darkest dungeon because I need to know the truth. I need to uncover the secret. And at the end, you will find yourself over the course of the game making decisions kind of like the ones the ancestor made. Maybe not to the same degree, but you'll find yourself saying, well, I can afford to lose this person. In order to complete the mission, this person has to die. I mean, you saw when I took on the Heart of Darkness, I brought a hero with me specifically to sacrifice them because I knew I would have to sacrifice somebody. By the end, I was kind of acting like the ancestor. And that's just such an effective experience for the game to put you through. But it isn't just, that's just one element. Every aspect of this game contributes to this atmosphere, this feeling of unsettlement. From the art style, which, first of all, the art in this game is fantastic. I just want to give a little praise to all the people who worked on the art in this game. This art is amazing. But everything, all of the art has this subtle, unsettling quality. Even just like the designs of some of the heroes and the designs of the people in town, it has this slight, unsettling aspect to it. But at the same time, as you make it farther into the game, as you start encountering the monsters, at first they just look kind of scary or kind of creepy. But as you get to the monsters that you encounter later, and especially the bosses, and especially the enemies in the darkest dungeon itself, there's this increasing feeling of wrongness that these creatures have. That the way that they're designed, they just look like you're gradually encountering things that just should not exist. And that feeling of wrongness just kind of perfectly complements the idea that you're gradually coming to understand the nature of the universe, and it's horrifying. And so once again, that just really strongly facilitates the atmosphere. And even the mechanics do this, because even like the gameplay facilitates this atmosphere. Because in order to succeed in this game, a lot of things have to go right. You have to bring the right supply items. You have to bring enough of them. In the higher level missions, you absolutely need to bring the right team composition. Just good heroes in the wrong combination will still not succeed and will end up just dying. You have to have the right abilities. You have to have the right camping skills. You have to manage stress as well as managing health and supplies. And messing up just one aspect of this can cause this snowball effect that causes an ultimate failure of the mission. And this is more subjective. I personally really enjoy when games don't pull any punches and actually force you to think carefully about what you're going to do. But also, it furthers that kind of atmosphere, that feeling that failure is the natural order of things. Failure, it is natural for you not to succeed, and by trying to succeed, you are going against the order of the universe. And that really fits with the cosmic horror feeling that this game is ultimately all about. And the best example I could point to this is I've never experienced anything quite like the feeling of relief that comes with defeating a boss. And it isn't really a feeling of like pride and accomplishment so much as it's just this feeling of relief, like, okay, I made it past that one. We survived. That particular horror is gone, at least for now. And that just really describes just how effective the atmosphere is, that I'm not feeling great about myself for defeating this monster. I'm feeling relieved that the monster is gone. And I personally just really love that experience and the whole atmosphere that this game creates. Part of this is I just really like atmospheric games. I really like games that really throw themselves into creating this whole pervasive atmosphere. It's why I really liked System Shock 2. It's one of the reasons why I love Dark Souls so much, is just how atmospheric those games are. And this game does that too, and that's just something I really enjoy. And beyond that, at the same time, this game is just extremely well designed. Looking at the gameplay is genuinely fun. It furthers the atmosphere, but it's also really enjoyable. There's a huge amount of strategy that goes into everything you do, and I really like as I said, I really like games that require you to think strategically and think carefully about what you're doing. And I mean, it's extremely well balanced. They do a really good job of making it so that every hero is useful. It's just a matter of how you use them. There are plenty of heroes that might jump out as really powerful and really helpful, but they have drawbacks that become apparent when you use them too much, and you realize that really they're rather situational, even if they are quite good. At the same time, there are other heroes that seem not necessarily that useful at first, but you discover that under the right circumstances, they can be incredibly powerful. I mean, if you watch the earlier portions of the episode, I completely passed on the Occultist at first. I figured, there's no way I'm going to be able to use the Occultist effectively. I brought an Occultist to the final boss, because at first the hero didn't really seem useful. They seemed kind of underpowered and gimmicky, but once I got the hang of using the Occultist, I realized just how powerful that hero can be under the right circumstances. And I would argue every hero in this game is that way. Every hero has a place in which they are highly effective. It's just a matter of learning to use that. And that's another thing that I love about this game, and it's just something I love it when games do this, where it encourages you to learn to use a variety of heroes and to learn how each hero works and use a variety of approaches, as opposed to just having one dominant strategy that's more effective than all the others. And so, because it makes every mission feels fresh, because on each mission you're usually using a different team composition than you did on the previous mission, because there's a bunch of different team compositions that are viable. It keeps the experience from getting repetitive, and that's really fun. And so just overall, every aspect of this game is good. There's no element in this game that I would point to and say, that was a mistake. That is a definitive flaw that this game has. Everything works. Everything is in service to the totality of the experience. The elements all work really well together. And so this game is great. It's really well made. And I just have to give some praise to the people who developed this game. This game is amazing. And so, anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough about why I like this game so much. So, that is going to be the end for this part, and that is the end of this project, but I'm not actually done playing Darkest Dungeon. I have the DLC, and since I got the DLC partway through the blind run, I decided to do the blind run with the DLC turned off. So, starting next week, I am going to do a brand new playthrough starting from the beginning with all of the DLC turned on. So it's kind of like a nearsighted run. I've played the game before, I'm familiar with a lot, but I'm going into the DLC essentially blind. I'll see what horrors await me in that experience. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening to me ramble if you're still hearing this now. I love you all, and I will see you next time.